Hello everybody, the one and only T-Rex here, and I know it's been a while since I have done a video on my YouTube channel. I have been working on a lot of other projects with some of my other characters. I finally have been able to get back into doing Let's Plays and stuff, and I've started World of Warcraft Let's Plays with my character Ziggy. So today is going to be something new, something I'm no experience in whatsoever, and that is makeup. So I'm going to remove this right now. Whoa! The daggone camera went out of focus. Really hate this. But anyway, I was watching one of my favorite YouTubers that I watch when it comes to makeup and stuff like that, and I saw she did a video following Bob Ross, and I figured, I wonder if it would be cool if I did a video following one of her older makeup tutorials. This person I speak of is Stef Sanjati, the bread mom. So if you are interested in seeing Stef, please go into the description below. I will leave her YouTube channel on there, and you can check her out, subscribe to her, show bread mom some love. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into this and see how badly I screw it up.
Friends, it is Steph. Welcome back to my home. I am getting facial feminization surgery in just about 2 weeks, so I thought it was time for me.
This is a older video back in 2016. I wanted to do this video because I don't have any type of surgery and stuff yet, so I wanted to be a little bit more accurate to where it works for me. It's just a stupid thought that I had, but that this would be better representation to follow than after a feminization surgery and stuff. So that's just, I'll shut up.
Me to do my last facial feminization makeup video, because I've done a few in the past. The first one I did I really do not like anymore. It's actually horrendous. And then the next ones were pretty good. But this one is my final one. It's also like kind of for posterity, because when I get my face surgery done, I'm going to be able to look back and be like, I used to do my makeup like that. Either way, I want this to be kind of like a crash course for trans women that maybe haven't tried makeup yet or are very new at makeup, because I get lots of questions from trans women like, I don't know what I'm doing. What do I do? Your makeup looks good. What do I do? I just want to be able to help.
What am I doing right now? I mean, I really want to stop this video. But no. The journey has to start somewhere. Even if this is cringy as hell, I don't care. Here we go. Come on.
You know, other trans women learn to do makeup that makes them feel comfortable, and I go through everything here. So I start with a daytime look and I transition it into this nighttime look, which is very simple, but it works. It works just fine. So if you're interested in learning about either this look here or this look here, just keep on watching and I will teach you all of my special tricks and tips. I want to start off by saying I'm using a different lighting setup than usual. So if this looks...
This is what I was talking about, where without the makeup, it relates to me right now. I've watched Steph for years, way back when her first videos that she had done prior to her facial feminization surgery and other stuff. And I can relate to this. This is really cool. I feel comfortable with this.
Not normal, then I apologize. Alright, I'm sorry. I'm starting with a primer. You want to always protect your skin. You want to put a barrier between your face and the makeup. It's going to make your makeup last longer, and it's also going to make your makeup look smoother, which just takes it up a notch. So I'm using, it's actually a deluxe size sample from Yves Saint Laurent. It's the Touche Éclat Blur Primer.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. I do not have primer. I do not have primer. But what I do have is a moisturizer. So this is going to be stupid, but I'm going to go ahead and just use that. There.
Primer, but any primer will do. You don't have to spend like a fortune. I like this one because it really smooths out tiny, tiny, tiny little fine textural things I have on my skin, like acne scarring or like light dryness around my eyes. Just make sure that you've prepped your...
That right there, dryness and stuff, I struggle with that every day, and it is horrendous. Where it makes my skin look like snake scales shedding, and especially when the weather changes and it gets really cold, it'll crack and split, and it's just this stuff right here, non-sponsored. I'm just showing you what I use. Studio Selection moisturizer, beauty lotion, perfect. It gets rid of that cracked, scaly skin and just makes everything feel so much better.
Skin, like you want to moisturize as well, because your friend, like, I hesitate saying this, it's the only rule that I will ever impose on a person that wants to do makeup, is that you have to take care of your skin. Otherwise, do whatever the hell you want. But like, no matter who you are, if you want your makeup to look bomb, you have to take care of your skin first. I'm also going to prep my lips with this lip oil. This is the Clarins lip oil.
I don't have lip oil. I did not come prepared for this video. I will admit, I was sitting down playing some WoW, and I was thinking, I'm bored. Let's just do a crash course makeup video. I am not prepared, but we're going to keep going because success is made up of mess-ups. Nobody gets it right on the first time, ever.
Any lip balm that you like should suffice. I like this one because it's super nourishing and my lips get cracked. You know, I want the extra nourishment. I like this gold theme we have going on here. Whenever I do my makeup, I start off looking kind of silly. You do not have to use the same products or same types of products that I'm using, but I know this is supposed to be easy. This is a little bit more complicated than most people would like to have for a concealer, but all you really need is a shade that's close to your skin tone. You don't need all these other shades. You really don't. I just like this because it looks really good. This is the Lise Watier Concealer Portfolio. I like using this, like, this is actually lavender. It looks all
right, just to prove that I'm an idiot, I went to the dollar store. Yes, I know those of you that are experiencing this are probably cringing right now. But I went to Walgreens, and I went to CVS, and I went to the mall, and I've looked at the cost of makeup. And I turned right back around and left because my wallet doesn't go that deep right now. I didn't know really what I was looking for. I was looking for specific things. And I got a couple things, like she has like a concealer packet. I got this thing right here. And I was embarrassed, and I was nervous, scared half out of my mind. And whenever the lady at the counter looked over at me, I kind of like turned around and went to another aisle until someone stopped me and says, "Can I help you?" I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of wanting to experiment with this. And I don't know where to start. And I did not know well, I knew, but I was absent-minded at the time, and I didn't look at the skin tone, so this may even be a messed up skin tone thing, but oh well, you know.
Almost white. I like using it around my eyes because it reflects the light really well. So you can see that it pretty much just completely, you can't see through it. If there's...
Alright, so I got... You know what? I don't even have a... no. Oh boy. I need your help right there. Alright, so I don't want to powderize this thing here, so let's see. I guess. Alright, and I got this thing, kind of like what she has. Mine's blue-green. But alright, let's see what happens.
Any light on my face, you cannot see through the concealer. It just bounces light off like a mirror. So I like that. It's really helpful for sculpting the face. But again, you just need a concealer that matches your skin tone. What you would want to do if that's the case, if you're just using a concealer that matches your skin tone, you want to just put it below your eyes in a similar pattern to what I've done here, but a lot less. And on any blemishes and any redness that you have.
Yeah,
what I'm doing is using a light concealer to sculpt my face. So I'm using something very light in areas I want to look rounder or bigger, which would be cheekbones, under the eye, that's about it. Brow bone, middle of the forehead. You want to create width in your eye area and narrowness in the chin. That's pretty much what people, like what surgeons do for facial harmonization surgery. That's what we're gonna do with our makeup. I also like to dab a little bit of this green concealer on any redness. Now because I'm not done my laser hair removal, I still have quite a bit of redness from shaving irritation. If you instead experience 5 o'clock shadow and you have an intense blue halo in the lower half of your face, what you'd want to do instead is apply an orange or a very peachy concealer. I like to do both. So I'm taking the peachy kind of color, the orangey color, and I'm just dabbing that on top.
Hold on a minute. Hold on. I'm using my camera so I can see what's going on. Oh gosh. Come on. Shut up, Tyson. My dog's making fun of me. Oh gosh. Please tell me if you are experienced and you know if I'm doing something wrong. This is hardly any product in this. Whoa, wait a minute. There we go. All right. I love painting and drawing, and when I started watching Stef, I didn't see a difference. It didn't get into this like any other art form. All that crap out of there. I got it. Thank God. Yeah, okay.
Top of the area I put the anti-redness. And this might seem like a lot, but by the end it all pretty much just looks assimilated into one color. So you'll see. It is still, like, you might think like, oh, why do you even need to do these first layers? And it just, honestly, I might not have to if my concealer, if my foundation's really full coverage. It just makes me feel better, okay? Just makes me feel better. Done the concealer, done the prep, more or less. So I'm using a foundation now. This is my Dermablend Pro Cover Cream.
Woolbread Mom. Hold on. Don't go to foundation yet. I have serious redness and I can see it. It's one of the main things I hate about my daggone face. I have never done this before, ever. There was times that I had thought, well, maybe if I get brave enough to go to a beauty parlor, I would sit in the chair and pay somebody to do it for me, but then I wouldn't learn at all. And the couple times that I did go to the parlor, I went in there and anxiety kicked in. I started looking at all the women looking at me, staring at me like I was some kind of deranged psychopath. And a lady asked if she can help me, and I said, nope, I'll show myself to the door, thank you very much. And I walked out feeling miserable. I think that's about right. My neck is, but we're just messing with this right now. So, alright, so she's going to foundation now. I do have foundation. I got a thing of foundation here. It's LA Colors, if you're familiar with that. Again, I don't know what I'm doing.
Shade Almond Beige 20W. What I like to do is just sort of stipple it on with a beauty blender on top.
Okay, alright, hold on. What? Guys, this is brand new. I did not see the plastic thing right there, so let me get that off and I will be back. Alright, got that. Haha. Alright. So, I guess you just... Woo! Right there, okay, alright. Bread Mom.
Top of all of my concealer. Oh yeah. Now this is a very high coverage foundation, which is kind of good if you want to eliminate your skin tone and sculpt new features with contour and highlight. Yeah. However, keep in mind, I kind of mentioned this earlier in a way, if your skin has a lot of texture, high coverage foundations are going to show up pretty obvious. So you can try it, give it a try. If it ends up being really rough looking, just stick to that skincare, and eventually your skin will really smooth and soften. Hormones actually do a lot for that as well. So if you are a transgender woman watching this and you haven't started hormones yet, they're going to make your makeup look great because your skin is going to get really nice on hormones. Mine did anyway, and I'm pretty sure every trans girl I've ever talked to has had an improvement in her skin after hormones. So if you want to get on hormones, don't fret. It will make your makeup look bomb. The next thing I'm doing is actually very helpful for keeping...
Wait, Bread Mom. I only got half of this, and with the light... It's taking me back to the theater when I went to go see Joker. If you haven't seen that movie, it's a roller coaster of an emotional ride. I enjoyed it. I gotta get this side. I'm afraid of getting this in my daggone eye. I am not coordinated when it comes to this blender. This isn't bad for somebody that hasn't done this before yet, but in cosplay and stuff like that, I am familiar with the face paint makeup, and I have cosplayed NOC Clown back when I was a teenager. It was a church function thing, and yeah. This is weird. But, alright. Everything's weird when you first start out, I guess, because you're not used to it. Terrible Joker laugh.
Alright,
so anyway.
makeup on and keeping it looking like very refined and finished. This is something you want to do only if your skin is very, very hydrated, which, like I said earlier, skincare. So I'm using my Dermablend powder now, the loose setting powder, on the back of my Beauty Blender, on the butt of the Beauty Blender. Get it really kind of concentrated. You can think it's a full thing of powder.
Oh, yes, that I do have. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. Ta-da! Yeah. Ugh. So to on the butt of the Beauty Blender. On the butt.
Then you want to smooth out your under eye concealer and press it on top. This is kind of an adapted version of baking. It really is baking, more or less. It's just baking usually is done with like a huge puff, and this is the butt of a Beauty Blender. Same idea though. We're really just pressing in setting powder to keep the makeup we put on there, and also the makeup is going to be brightened by this because the powder is white. It's not going to look like this after we brush everything off, but this is going to give it some kind of lasting difference. Now, if you have a different skin tone, like if you have very dark skin, for example, it's very likely that this white powder is going to show up bad on your face. It's going to make you look dry and ashy, as I've heard people say. I don't know if it's bad for me to say that, but that's what I've heard people describe it as. And the thing that you would want to do is use a different color translucent powder. So you might think translucent, well, it's see-through, it should always work. But no, white powder shows up bad on a lot of skin tones. So if you have a much darker skin tone, you're likely going to want to look for a yellow setting powder or even an orange one, depending on your skin tone and depending on all that stuff. I would just look for a makeup artist that has a similar skin tone to you and see what they use. That's usually the best bet. So I just spend some time kind of beating it into my face until it's pretty much just in there, okay? Still looks a little bit like there's powder all over me, but we're gonna get to that. Now, here's where I tell you about the fantastic brush set I'm using. I actually did a video with these before. Vanity Planet has sent me many products to try and to recommend to you if I liked them. And I do like these. I've had this exact brush set in a video before. I actually have 2 of this brush set, and it's kind of like...
Now, I will show you what I have, which that is a very pretty set. But I have, this is weird. Okay, so I got these. They come in really cool tins. I liked them. 2 sets, if you can see that right there. And the reason why I like these is I am unfamiliar with brush types and stuff like that, but these things right here on the handle, it gives a description of what to use it for, like powder, and then there's one that says highlighter, concealer, eyebrow, so I know what brush is used for what, so that way when I use them more repetitively later on, I'll be able to get a brush set without any markings on it, and I'll know what that's used for. But anyway, Bread Mom, continue, please. I'm sorry.
I've got doubles of brushes in here because I just put all of my favorite brushes in here. But if you are starting out at makeup, I have a discount on this brush set I can give you. So if you are a wee baby trans woman and you don't know where to start and you're very overwhelmed by like the idea of getting a brush set, this is very easy. So it comes with a whole bunch of brushes. I'm actually got my kabuki brush in there. Pretty much every brush you could possibly...
I've messaged Bread Mom a couple times and gotten no response, which that's not talking bad about her. I know she's really busy. And I don't take any hurtful feelings toward that. I have said hello to her mother, and her mother said, hey, what's up? She's a busy girl. I'm like, I understand, you know. But I don't know if this is still available or not. This is a older video, so I highly doubt that you can get that brush set with code or whatnot she's going to say. If she's watching, please let me know if it is or not, because that is really cool. That is really cool.
Ever need is going to be in this set. I have a discount for you in the description box so you can check it out, and I'll be using these brushes for pretty much everything else on my face at this point. So if you like these brushes and the way they look, they actually have nice wooden handles too. They're very durable. I've had them for like the first set I've had since February, I think. They last a while. They're really good and they're pretty inexpensive, so you know, check out that description box, y'all. So I'm using the Kabuki brush from that brush set with my Stila powder, which I have hit pan on. I'm always hitting pan on my powders because I use way too much. This is the illuminating powder in the color, I believe, I don't know, because it comes in a magnet thing and you don't see the color name ever. I'm just I don't know, stippling's not the right word for this.
I don't have a Kabuki brush, and I don't even know what powder she's using. Oh, man. Oh, man. I'm lost.
Just kind of packing it on my face, especially on areas that I didn't put the translucent powder, and then I'm gonna just take that same brush over the areas where I did put the translucent powder to get rid of anything left on my skin. I like to use another powder, not just the
You know what? I'm gonna take a gamble, because I have these brushes. They were just random brushes that I got, and I'm gonna try something. Hopefully I'm right. Come on. There we go. And I'm gonna... Whoa, hey! Whoa, whoa! Fallout. Interesting. Okay. Okay, alright.
Translucent powder because I like to build more coverage. I like to ensure that I'm not going to have 5 o'clock shadow halfway through the day poking through my makeup. So that's why I like to put a powder foundation on top of my full coverage foundation. Okay, I'm very obsessive about coverage, but it works out, and because I moisturize, it tends to look good. We've got the base down. We have that naked, flat...
Okay, yeah, alright, hold on. I'm gonna need holding it right, dagnabbit. There's a lot of fallout. Alright. My dog's looking at me like I'm an idiot. Hi, how are you? Bread Mom, help. I don't know if I did this right at all. That looks a lot better than it did. I don't even know what that's right there. This is pressed powder. Oh well. If anything, you guys are getting a laugh out of this, and I'll be happy if you do. Some entertainment or whatnot. Okay, here we go. Come on, Bread Mom. Tell me what to do next.
Flat canvas. There's a lot of work put into a flat canvas, a lot more than you might have thought if you're just starting out with makeup, but you'll get used to it. It's a lot less than it seems, especially once you get a handle on like how many things you like and all that stuff. Everybody has a different routine, so you don't have to go through this full coverage thing. If your skin is really good, or if you have blonde facial hair, for example, you don't need to build up that coverage. So just do, what works for you, but start somewhere. We're gonna do contouring now. I like the Smashbox contour kit. As you can see, I've hit pan on half the palette. And normally I use kind of a flared, fluffy brush for contouring, but I've been trying something else lately with a flat foundation brush because I don't use these.
Okay, like she said contour. And this one right here says ding, 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 contour. Well, yeah, contour. The thing is, I don't know. Oh, come on.
And I've wanted to have a reason to have them. So I'm instead going to be using the taupe contour shade. Taupe is the shade you usually want to use if you're medium to light skin. Medium to fair skin, I suppose I should say. And we're going to create a rounder cheek to make it look more feminine and round and full. How we're going to do that is we're going to just take it on that brush, and I like to brush upwards. You want to kind of find your cheekbone. If you can't find your cheek...
Okay, hold on. Hold on. This makeup kit has anti-idiot shields, And apparently I'm an idiot because I don't know how... Okay. Alright. We're just going to take the whole thing out of there. And I guess this is the right thing. I don't know. It would help if I had friends that knew what makeup was so I can actually learn. Well, actually, I do have friends who know what makeup is, but they live hours away from me, so I hope they enjoy this too. They put tape on it. Okay, alright. I don't like this. Dollar store, you suck. Alright, okay. Alright. Ah, whoa. Now I see why it was so cheap. Okay. There. Okie dokie. Alright, now, let's take that back a little bit because I don't know what she did.
I don't use these, and I've wanted to have a reason to have them. So I'm instead going to be using the taupe contour shade. Taupe is the shade you usually want to use if you're medium to light skin. Medium to fair skin, I suppose I should say. And we're going to create a rounder cheek to make it look more feminine and round and full. How we're going to do that is we're going to just take it on that brush, and I like to brush upwards. You want to kind of find your cheekbone. If you can't find your cheekbone, just keep trying it, you'll find it. And I'm going to brush up from underneath of the cheekbone, which I'll explain in a second, and we're gonna come around. When you get close to the end of your eye, how it kind of lines up here, don't go past that. We're gonna actually round up when we get there. And what this does, it looks bad when it's not blended, but it's gonna create like this deep shadow at the base, right? Right here where we put the product creates a shadow, and then it kind of gets softer as it goes up. And that is how to create a contour. Like, your contour shouldn't look like a flat line on your face, it should look like a shadow. So after placing that, I just take my kabuki brush and blend it. There's also the alternative option of a brush like this, which is much faster, but you can really adapt and...
Hold on. I am learning firsthand why not to get cheap dollar store stuff. Because I do not see anything happening. Anything at all. Just stuff flicking it. Oh my god. Alright. Okay. I am not prepared. Alright, let's see. Well, this might work. Cheek pad. Oh, I do has. Alright, so, let's see here. Hopefully. Nope. And there's a bunch of fallout again. No. Nothing. And it's just falling out everywhere. My goodness. It's looking nothing like what Bread Mom is doing.
Any set of brushes you have into something that you can work with, because brushes have like an intended purpose, but just like, I don't know, spices or something, they can always be adapted to suit your needs. I'm gonna do my jawline. I don't know if my jawline's large or not, really, I have no idea, but generally when you're doing feminizing makeup, you want to reduce the size of your jaw, because usually testosterone-based puberty does enlarge your jaw, and usually that's not considered feminine. I am not in the business of making anybody feel bad about their face, okay? So if you like your jaw, like if you like any, like contouring isn't supposed to be, I don't like this feature, let's get rid of it. It's just softening things, alright? So if you don't want to soften something, don't do that, you know? Does that make sense? I'm being very odd. Now I'm doing something else that's kind of specific to my face.
Red okay, so no, wait, hold on. I had to go all the way down to this color to get some type of effect. Oh gosh. Okay. There. Ah. Oh, look at all that fallout, man. It's just... I'm making a mess more than magic. Oh, gosh. Alright. Mom, help me.
You don't have to do this. In fact, I recommend you don't, especially if you have close set eyes. If by chance you have a very wide set face like me, what I like to do is reduce the distance between my eyes. I don't really do it because I like to reduce the distance. I do it because it makes my face look very like sculpted.
I think her face is amazing. If you are confused about why her eyes are set apart, I suggest you look at her channel on the video where she describes why her eyes are like that. But I find her face very unique, very attractive to look at. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I think I just might have drilled a little bit. So what I do on my wide set face is I take the contour color on my brush and I push it right underneath of my brow bone next to my nose. So like right in there. So you can see it creates depth. And then I take it on the back of the brush on this side instead of the top, on this side of the brush, the flat one. And I bring it right down the side of my nose like you'd contour a nose. And contouring my nose is kind of a big thing for me. So, and a lot of other trans girls, like feminizing your face typically means you reduce the size of your nose. I don't, again, I'm not here to make you feel like your face is too damn big. But I'm trying to teach feminizing makeup, and there's things I have to tell you. We're gonna leave that for now. I do fix this up, but you'll see that in a bit. Next is bronzer. So
oh wait, hold on the bronzer, Wait on your bronzers. Da-da-da. I don't know. I do not know. Okay.
For bronzer, I just like to use the same color in here. These kind of kits are actually very useful if you're starting out as well, because you get 3 colors that are perfect. You don't have to hunt around for 3 different colors. So if you're similar in skin tone to me, you might want to just pick up the Smashbox one. Anyway, I use the bronzer kind of on top of everywhere I put the contour, and I just kind of blend it further. So with the bronzer, I start out right on top of the contour, and I end up pretty much going across the entire cheekbone, under my eye, like so. And what I like bronzer for is to create a warm halo effect. I don't use bronzer as a contour because it doesn't work for my skin. So I use bronzer to bring life back to the face. Because when you use so much full coverage stuff, it really does make you look kind of washed out. So putting it pretty much everywhere brings color back to your skin, and it's color that you can control. I do use bronzer as a contour on my forehead. Because my forehead isn't very, very big, I don't like to do like the full-blown actual contour shade and like highlight it and stuff. So I just take bronzer and I hide my blonde hair up here, and I just run it back and forth across the top of my forehead. And this just makes it look a little bit rounder and a little bit softer, like that. And lots of blending, no harsh lines allowed. And then we get that. And it just makes everything look kind of consistent, you know what I mean? Gonna take another...
No harsh lines allowed, but I have a daggone Klingon forehead when I do this. And then, well, at least it didn't tear up anything. We'll see if that works right there. I don't know if it does or not. Okay, alright.
Brush from that Vanity Planet brush set. I'm using the highlighter shade now. This is a very big part of the way I feminize with makeup. The contour deepens shadows, right? And then this color brings the highlights out more. I don't use this as my glowy highlight. I use this as my contrast to contour highlight, which is kind of ridiculous to have so many different things, but you'll see why I do this in like 2 seconds. The first thing I do is soften my nose contour. I guess sharpen in a way. So I go down on an angle along the side of my nose and create a sharp V against the contour, which kind of tapers the nose contour, and it makes it look a lot more narrow. Because if you overdo contour, it can end up just making things look bigger. That's why I think it's very important to contrast it with a highlight. So this is my matte highlight shade I used first, and then I go back later for shine and glow. So just through the middle of my nose with the contrast shade and along the sides, and you can see already it makes the nose look more slender. And then to widen the eye area, like I mentioned earlier, I'm bringing that matte highlight shade throughout this middle section of my face, along the top of my cheekbone, like that. And if it isn't perfectly blended right now, don't worry. I blend everything together after. And then I go underneath of the contour, and just like we did the contour, I swipe up with this when we get close to the middle of the face. Like that. See, this is a very easy to see example of what it should look like before you blend. Let me take my kabuki brush from the Vanity Planet brush set, and I just literally go over everything one more time. And you can see that really softens everything, and now it just looks balanced and sculpted the way I want it to.
Oh, sorry.
And we're good to go into the actual makeup now. Took us long enough, huh? One more thing before we do the eyes is blush. You can pretty much use any shade you want.
Bread
if
Mom,
you're starting
hold on, Bread Mom. Hold on. You're going to blend. Blend. It looks like nothing's even happening, but we're gonna blend this. Da 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 da. The look, like, honey, the fuck. Alright, okay, I gotta go.
Makeup though, it's highly likely you'll use too much blush the first time. You might not, but that's okay. Just make sure when you're applying blush that you blend. You can have as intense as you want. Blending is just very important. You don't want anything to look like it is sitting on top of your skin. You want it to look like it's part of your skin. So building it up is better than just laying on a lot right away and trying to blend it. So you can see I'm starting very light and I'm just adding to it as we go. So the blush I'm using is from MAC. It's called Make You Mine. It's kind of this apricot color. I used to use exclusively like rosy pinks, but lately, you know, my mind has been changed. And I like to apply the blush kind of through the middle of my face, along the cheekbone, keeping things in a round motion. You see how I'm going in kind of a W? That's where I like to apply my blush, with the most of it being right here. I just find having a little bit of warmth and blush on your nose makes it look kind of cute. Maybe that's just like with a round nose, I don't know, but play around with it. You'll see what makes you feel comfortable. For the eyes, we're gonna start with something called eyeshadow primer.
Wait. Whoa. When I get more comfortable with you, okay? When I get more comfortable and I know what I'm doing, then we will go hardcore Bob Ross, non-pausing. But right now, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. So hold on them eyes. Is hardly doing anything. I don't know. Okay. Alright, eyes. Eyeshadow, or what? What are you doing?
What eyeshadow primer does is it keeps things on longer, but it also makes it so that any color you put on your eyelids or anywhere you put the eyeshadow primer is sure to color, so it looks better, basically. Looks more like it does in the packaging. So just rubbing that right on top of our eyelids. For the eyes, I'm going to be using the Naked 3 palette. This is from Urban Decay. They make some of the best eyeshadows, in my opinion. I love them. We're going to be doing something very soft, so we're not going to get too crazy with the color choice. And this has very subdued nude shades, so it's pretty handy. Using a fluffy kind of blending brush from the Vanity Planet brush set. And I'm going into this shade called Factory right here. It's kind of like this shiny mauve color. And we are going to just swoosh that all over the eyelid. Looks quite a bit darker on my eye than I expected. That's okay. No big deal. So I'm just bringing it pretty much from the lash line into the crease, and then I'm going to leave it. I'm going to blend it more, but we'll come back to that. So that's what we're starting with right there. So we're going to soften that now with a slightly bigger fluffy brush. So I'm just going around the edges of where we put that and blending. It's that simple. When you blend, it's good to use circular motions. So if you find that more successful, then you know you've learned something. But basically we just don't want to have a harsh line anywhere on the eyes. So blending like this just makes it nice and soft. All right, we're gonna do a highlight shade now, keeping it very simple.
Bread Mom, please hold on. Please hold. This is actually working. I can actually see it working. It's working. It's not as dark, but I did something, yay! Alright.
So I'm going into this matte highlight shade right here called, oh, I thought it was Strangle. It's Strange. And just putting that below the brow bone. Now, if you kind of went kind of crazy with the first color, you can use your highlight shade to soften everything back down. So you can see that that really just brings light back into the area. So for the day look, we're going to keep the eyes just like that. We're not going to do anything more for eyeshadow. We are going to go into eyeliner now, however, and I like to use pencil eyeliner when I'm not doing things on the lid. I'm going to just be tight lining to start.
Okay. First off, I'm terrified right now because I have a phobia of needles. And eyeliner pencils, I'm very nervous about using. Give me just 1 minute, hold on. Okay, alright, back. So, yeah. Oh, I'm so freaking nervous. Anxiety's kicked in. But I'll never learn until I face it.
For the daytime look. If you are not familiar with the term tight lining, it's when you put the eyeliner up inside of your eye and you put it underneath of your eyelashes.
No. That just looked like she shoved it up in her eye, and I can't. Get that out of my vision. I had tight lining, no. Tight lining, no.
So I'll just do it, and hopefully that will give you a good idea of what I'm trying to say. So you can lift your eye if you want to. You don't have to. Just be careful when you do that, not to mess your eye up. I find closing my eye once the pencil's inside actually makes it really easy. And I like to kind of just flick it out a little bit, ever so slightly at the outer corner to make it look like the lashes are thicker back there. Do you see what I mean?
All right, I'm gonna try. No. Nope. That hurt. No. You know what? Just like a painting, she veered off and did her own thing while following Bob Ross. I'm going to do my thing, how I think I can do it. Okay, so I'll let her talk.
And then we're just going to keep going down. Depending on your eye shape, you might want to modify where you put this, but I like to really outline my inner corner. My eyes are also notorious for watering. If you're new to makeup, you might experience that. Mine's not because I'm new to makeup, however, it's because my eyes hate me. Now, to intensify that and just keep it in place more, especially this inner corner part, by the way, I did a little sharp cat eye in the front. If you have narrow, like close-set eyes, you might not want to do that. I like it on wide-set faces because it just makes things look more dynamic, but either way, I am just setting that with some black eyeshadow on a tiny little brush, and I'm going to do the same for this back part. I put very little product on the brush because if you get too much on there, it can start to look like a liquid eyeliner, and that's not what we're going for this. Now, for brows, generally what is considered feminine right now, okay, and the thing, okay, here's the thing though. Brow trends change pretty much every single year, so you kind of just want to find a shape that you like and stick with it and try not to worry about what everything else is, you know, right now. But again, I'm trying to teach you feminizing makeup. So I'm going to tell you what is currently considered the most feminine is a flatter, more soft shape, but intensely, kind of not super dark, but darker than your hair. So you want to have, the intensity should be in like the thickness, and then the softness should be in the shape. Does that make sense? So instead of going soft in the thickness and making it very sparse, it should be thick but not super arched. if you want to go for what is considered to be feminine right now. Even this is quite arched. Like, this is pretty severe for right now. But it's also trendy, so fuck it. I'm just using a brow pencil from Annabelle. What I like in a brow pencil, because I have quite a bit of hair on my brows already, is something that's dry, not really creamy, because the creaminess can kind of get the hair all thick and twisted. And I like something that's very, very thin, like very fine pointed, because it creates smaller detail. So you also want to avoid doing like one stroke. You don't want to just go through and do one long stroke. You want to do short strokes like this, like I've been doing this whole time. If that makes sense, I hope that makes sense. Thank you. I like to curl my lashes and apply mascara before I do false lashes.
Okay, alright, hold on, Bread Mom, hold on. Need to go back to see what you were doing.
Every single year.
Okay,
so
you do not have that. I don't. I do not have any of the eyeshadow stuff. So, I mean... The eyeliners, the I don't know. That was probably a mistake. But it's darker. I'm using eyeliner as that to darken the stuff. This is weird. It did darken it. That probably looks horrendous. Oh well, keep going.
You kind of just want to find a shape that you like and stick with it.
There's
and
no
try not to worry about what
this
everything else is, you know, right now. But again, I'm trying to teach you feminizing makeup. So I'm going to tell you what is currently considered the most feminine is a flatter, more soft shape, but intensely, kind of not super, super dark, but darker than your hair. So you want to have... The intensity should be in like the thickness, and then the softness should be in the shape. Does that make sense? So instead of going soft in the thickness and making it very sparse, it
like
should be
Fester
thick,
Adams.
but not super arched. If you want to go for what is considered to be feminine right now. Even this is quite arched. Like this is pretty severe for right now, but it's also trendy, so fuck it. I'm just using a brow pencil from Annabelle. What I like in a brow pencil, because I have quite a bit of hair on my brows already, is something that's dry, not really creamy, because the creaminess can kind of get the hair all thick and twisted. And I like something that's very, very thin, like very fine pointed, because it creates smaller detail. So you also want to avoid doing like one stroke. You don't want to just go through and do one long stroke. You want to do short strokes like this, like I've been doing this whole time. If that makes sense, I hope that makes sense. Thank you. I like to curl my lashes and apply mascara before I do false lashes. Keep in mind, false lashes are totally optional. They do, however, do quite a bit to feminize the face. So they take some learning. They're definitely a learning curve, something that is one of the harder things to get used to, unless you just are a prodigy. But when you get a handle on them and you know how to blend them into your natural lashes, they can really change your eyes. For the daytime look, I am going to avoid mascara on my lower lashes. You can do that, it's not super dramatic. So now that we're done with the eyes, I'm gonna go back to the face. I'm gonna be using this highlighter from Cover FX. This is in the shade Moonlight. It is a creamy liquid highlighter. It is also the best thing ever. Literally nothing is better than this in the world. Not even like bread. I'm just stepping it on with my finger. Sometimes liquid highlighters can kind of mess up makeup underneath and make it very hard to blend and kind of lift up layers of makeup underneath. But this one seems to just be good. It seems to not do that to me, and I appreciate that. So I'm running it along my brow bone and my cheekbone, focusing it on the part of my face that moves on my cheek, right? So the apple. So you can see when I smile, it brings light into my eyes, which is nice. It's very nice. And now
Yes,
for the
it
nose
is.
highlight. I don't just take it and slather it right down the center of the nose. I kind of split it up. And this is very helpful if you want to like shorten your nose. So I just use my finger and I'm just tapping it down the bridge just like that. Like right through here. I don't go down further. Okay, then I just blend the edges, right? So that makes it look like the actual bridge of my nose is very narrow. And then I tap a little bit also on the tip of my nose. And what this does is it kind of makes the illusion that the tip is actually very out and there's not a lot of length here. So it makes your nose look smaller, which is nice. If that's what you want. Now for lips, I'm going to be doing my favorite liquid lipstick from Stila in the shade Baci. For the upper lip, I'm going to kind of zoom you in because you got to know what's up. You gotta know what's up. Something that is considered very feminine is a lip upper lip. Oh no! So what I like to do to keep it reasonable is I don't have a cupid's bow, right? I don't have that little like thing, which is actually very feminine. If you have that, take advantage of it. I don't have that. So I like to create kind of just like a very puffy, big, like pouty upper lip. You don't want to go too high. You don't want to go more than like 2 millimeters above your natural lip line. Otherwise it's gonna start looking like theater makeup. So what I do is I just start in the middle and I work outwards. That's probably the most I'd ever overline, okay? And now to make it look natural, I have to kind of bring it wider, and then you don't want to go wider than where your lip naturally ends though, because then you're gonna have like, it's not gonna match with your movement of your face.
Okay.
Like that. And that does a lot to feminize my lips. I like to also apply a lip gloss sometimes during the day. You can leave it matte, but I find a gloss honestly makes it more comfortable because matte lips can sometimes feel very dry. So for a daytime look, you could stop here. You could really stop here if you wanted to. You could add anything else you wanted, like if you want freckles, you can add freckles. If you naturally have freckles, you can enhance them. If you want a beauty mark, you can add a beauty mark. I'm gonna stop here. For no specific reason. I just kind of like it without... Anything else today? So to adapt this to a nighttime look, all I'm going to do is remove the gloss, the sticky part of my lipstick, by just dabbing it. If you want, you can take it off altogether. I'm just worried about wrecking the rest of my makeup, so I choose not to. I elect to not remove all of it. You know, it's all good. So the first thing I'm doing, aside from removing my lipstick, is applying another lipstick. This is another Stila liquid lipstick. This one is much darker. This is the color Chianti. It's a wine shade. It's actually named after a wine. And this is very good for fall. Wine lips are pretty much every fall. You can do a wine lip and people are gonna be like, that's trendy. I'm just gonna apply that right on top of where my current lipstick is.
I don't have any of this.
And mess up, evidently. Alright, I'm gonna leave this one matte. You could put a gloss on if you want, but I think matte can look a little bit more dramatic. A little bit more dramatic. So I'm electing to not put a lip gloss on this one. For the eyes, we're gonna apply a little bit of liquid liner. This is Stila's liquid liner pen. If you are bad at the dip liquid liner, don't worry, I am too. Mostly because I never practiced, because I picked up one of these almost as soon as I started doing makeup. They're a lot easier. They're almost like drawing with a pen. It's very simple. You just wanna do short strokes with these. So with this liner, I'm basically going right on top of my eyelid, and I'm creating a little bit of a wing. If you have hooded eyes, I highly recommend you do not attempt to do a cat eyeliner right away. Just give yourself some time to practice without doing that, and then try to figure out a way to incorporate it with your hooded, like to create the cat eye on a hooded eye, because it's something that I don't know how to do. And it's not that I think you shouldn't do it, it's that I think you should give yourself some time to get used to regular eyeliner before you do a cat eye. The last thing I'm going to do to make this a nighttime look is to add lashes. I normally go for something a lot more intense, but this is more what I'd recommend for somebody that's starting with lashes. Something that's fairly standard in like intensity, instead of going right for the super huge, gigantic lashes. You want to build your way up. One tip I can give you here without going into extreme detail about lash application is you want to wait for the glue to get a little bit tacky. You don't have to like feel it. Just give it like 15-20 seconds.
Alright, I'm going to stop torturing myself. I can't take it anymore. I got to get this off. I look like Goth Friday Night from the mid-90s. This is kind of like what a lot of the teens looked like when I was a teen over at the mall and stuff like that. I have butchered this big time, but I have learned a lot, that there is a lot more that I need to do. And this makeup is the shits. I don't like it. It took a lot to... I have such pretty colors, it looks like right here, but this is what I get. So, we're going to go ahead and end it here. If you like this video and you got a laugh and you're on the ground and you've peed yourself already, because I am a moron, I think give it a like. Give me a comment in the description, or a comment in the comment section below. Give me some feedback on if you think you could help this mess. And I will see you in the next video. Until then, eat you later.